Welcome, everyone. This is All Minus One Quick Shots. Folks, long time no see. I have been off the webs for about 2 weeks now. Of course, not completely. I do check the news and such on occasion. But those of you who are my loyal followers, the three of you out there, however many there might be, but I know I talk to at least three of you quite regularly. I do appreciate you all following here and over on the Ends Justify the Memes. Now, if you hadn't caught why I was gone because I went and did a training, and actually did the training, and it was kind of like around a similar time that we were trying to move my wife's grandfather out of a nursing home. That unfortunately did not work out for us, so prayers for the family, please. He actually broke his hip like just a few days before we went to move him. But my wife was able to see her grandfather. We're hoping other family members will help get him or get involved and get him closer to them, so he's not so far away and isolated in his advanced years. So back to the training thing. Well, part of this was a birthday present from my wife to me to do this training, and of course, I went to this great camp run by Rich Graham of Full Spectrum Warrior. And it was not for professionals per se. It was for the layman, the citizen, and it was team building. It was shooting. It was some martial arts, fitness, obstacle course stuff, tactical medicine, that is like first responder stuff, and masculine bonding. But most importantly, it was Christian focused. It was very much about Christ being the head of man and man being the head of the family. And the speakers, the instructors, many of whom were former Navy SEALs, some of them are still active private security members, and many of them have been in intense situations or have come from a different past, similar to myself. Them having far more experience than I've had in those fields and as far as firearms and all that stuff. But still, there comes a point in your life where you kind of realize, man, I need to get it together, or, stop being stupid or crazy. And you see it a lot where folks, they come to God. And for me, of course, I got out of the military a long time ago, but I was still working in law enforcement. And yeah, I needed to get myself together and give it to God. And when that happens and you really truly do that, what you'll see is just this abundance of change in your life and the way you act and the way you see things and the way you perceive the world. And one of the things that I think that affects most men that most of us see pretty quickly is how childish, how we acted like little boys for so long. And to some degree, men will always be like children when they get a new toy. I think most people are in general, male or female. But I'm talking about the leadership role of men. And men have not been great leaders in most spheres of the world in recent decades. There was a whole counterculture, if you would, a shift, and the way that we in the West saw ourselves, and this happened throughout the 1960s and 70s largely. And there have been ebbs and waves of it. And finally, it has kind of sort of come to fruition in the last decade or so here in the West, especially in the United States, as I haven't been to Europe in a while, although I do have friends there. But it seems to be just a Western phenomenon, something that's not as prevalent in, let's say, the South American world, the Latin American world, or Asia. It's certainly not as much in Africa or the Middle East either. It is a very Western phenomenon. And it has to do a lot with our prosperity, and our prosperity making us weak and comfortable and not really understand or realize what is important in life. So that brings me back to training with these warriors. And also, the mission that we went to go on that was thwarted. See, me training with these guys was a secondary thing actually, but it happened first in the order of events, and then the moving of her grandfather. Well, that happened second because again we got there, planned it out, so we just come a little bit early, and I could do that. When you have failures, people who are not in charge, who are not leading, who are not properly focused, who are not driving forward, those folks are going to be just absolutely, absolutely a mess. They're not going to be able to see the forest from the trees. They're not going to be able to look at the proper objective, and they're going to be in panic mode. I find this often with folks that might message me. Like I have some folks on my personal Facebook that send me stuff, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I already know this. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate folks sending me stuff. I'm just one man. I can only know so much. But some of the way that they talk is just way over the top to me. Now I know, and a lot of my stuff, I get a little intense, and I say, well, look, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. I just want you to be aware. That's all I'm saying. But like for now, right now, the thing to worry about is, see, hyperinflation and that kind of stuff, right? People talk about civil war. I talk about civil war, but that's coming in the future. Well, see, a little boy, someone who's not mature, will focus on the civil war that's 8 years down the road, but not see the hyperinflation in front of them that's going to be here in the next year or two, for certain. And the point is when you face adversity, right, you come from backgrounds like the men I just trained with, or even to some degree myself, an insult means nothing. We insult each other for fun. It's part of the game, to try and get at each other. It toughens your character. And you'll find this a lot in the medical field as well. Work with some EMTs sometimes. See, tell me how their sense of humor is. Folks are too soft today. And I think that's the first thing. We have men that are being encouraged to act like women encouraged to act like men. And we need to understand that as men, we possess a certain amount of power, and we shouldn't act like women because our emotions and our anger and our strength are actually far more powerful, and that we will choose to do violence on average. Women will destroy your reputation. Their violence and their anger is done in a different way. But we men, we're much different with that. So we need to temper ourselves and slow ourselves down and take time and have patience with what we see and the information that we gather and how we act it out on the world. So again, I had this really great time, and it was very spiritually uplifting and whatever else. Unfortunately, my wife's grandfather is going to have to remain in Florida for a few more months, and we're about to have a baby, so we probably won't be able to move him. We are hoping that other members of his family, those that hold the power of attorney and whatever else, will step up and do this themselves. But everyone does what they can where they're at. We just know that we won't be able to take that on. And it's like, hey, look, we tried. We're not going to be able to do it. And we pass it on to someone else. And again, this is about maintaining our composure and our emotions. When this first happened, my wife was quite upset. We literally were outside of, or just got to the town of the nursing home, and we're just a few miles away. Like 5 minutes after a 2-hour drive. We had like 5 minutes to go. And we get a phone call. Oh, he broke his hip. Several days ago, by the way. Several days before. But that's a communication thing and a whole nother issue. But again, the point is my wife was quite upset, and I can understand. And immediately I'm like, don't let this discourage you. We did what we came here to do. Other good things happened because of this. And let's not let this defeat us. See, that's a mature mindset. And a lot of the mindset today is not mature. It's all about reactions, and it's all about flipping out. Like, I take the time to get my material to you all, whether it's long-winded or not. I take the time to do it to have it well researched. I don't necessarily cover things I don't understand very well, and if I do, I tend to preface the conversation that way. But generally, I'm talking about things I have a great deal of knowledge on, or I'm not saying I'm an expert, but it's not something I just read yesterday. With that as well, just real quick, you made it this far, some channel announcements. I'm going to be a little bit more regimented on the kind of segments that I do. I'm going to try at least, because I'm going to try and get some other stuff up and running. I am booked on the Ends Justify the Memes with guests all through next month. So on the 17th, that is this Wednesday, February 17th, we'll have Don the Pleb on again, a friend of the show and a fellow YouTuber who has a larger channel than I do, but he is still small and growing. So if you don't know him, go check him out or go watch us over on the live stream, the Ends Justify the Memes. And then we have our friends Jeremy and Delaney after that. The next Wednesday, in between there on the Saturday, I think I have Radically Moderate. And then I have a bunch of other folks lined up that I will announce later that I hope you all will enjoy with that. And again, I'm trying to expand out the other things. But back to the final points on the conversation I was having. I just kind of want to let you guys know, hey, I didn't fall off the earth. I am home safe. If of my 3 regular followers, you guys out there who watch everything I do, I really do appreciate it. We need to mature as a society, and it's not going to happen with those who are leading us now. The whole point of their goals is to essentially turn everyone back into children. That way they must have power and control over them. But as men, we need to be more mature. And so we cannot just suddenly be exposed to something that seems not good, right? That's conflicting, we can't just let our spirits just be crushed instantly when we hear bad news. And the first thing I thought when I heard that news with my wife was, well, I guess I need to be a rock, and I need to make sure that she's okay and that she understands that this is going to be okay, and then we'll take care of it, and it will get taken care of. And I did what I'm supposed to do as a man. I led. And we need more teaching on that, folks. Go sign up and train with Rich. Go sign up and train with some folks. Go get some male leadership. Go watch Jocko Willink or something. Someone's into this radical ownership for leaders. It's something that's on my heart. If you watch the last video I did before I left 2 weeks ago, I'm talking about this very thing, more or less. Men being men. And it's very much been on my heart lately as the culture is being destroyed purposefully. And men don't know where they're at in society anymore unless they're very, very wealthy. And many of those men, they still act like boys. Many of them do. But hey guys, I've ran my mouth long enough. Glad to be back. I will be out with a longer segment video tomorrow for sure. And I will also discuss the new schedule I'm looking at, just a very dedicated schedule on how I'm going to post. But for now, I'll be doing at least one quick shot all week. Expect the story time this Thursday or Friday to come out. And, glad to be back, guys. So with all that said, this has been, all -1 quick shots. See, I'm rusty, very rusty. I wish you all well, guys.